Believe in Bigfoot, Dogman, any cryptid? Are you skeptical?
Curious about the supernatural, conspiracy theories, the unknown? Then come join us as we explore facts, tall tales, and encounters on Creatures and Curiosities.
Hello and welcome to Creatures and Curiosities. I'm David.
And I'm Jake.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about this ghostly, frightening apparition.
Creepy, yeah.
This one's just sick.
Well, yeah, and just the description alone that you're going to give here in a second that's horrifying.
It is horrifying. I wouldn't want to run into this, but I would.
But I would, because I need to see it, yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, this chick is called the three-legged lady of Nash Road. I think probably everybody in Mississippi has heard about this one because, again, kind of like our last episode, this one is more urban legend than it is cryptid.
Right.
Now, the definition of cryptid would meet this. Right. Because it's an unknown entity that's never been discovered or has been at one point, but is extinct and shouldn't be seen.
I mean, the way you found her was by searching cryptids by state, cryptids and she popped up.
And this is the most famous one in Mississippi. Although there are other cryptids in Mississippi, this one was the creepiest. And so I thought this one would be fun. We may not make an hour out of this because there's not a whole lot of information on this one.
But who cares? Because it's fun.
Could be a shorter episode, but we're long-winded, so we might stretch it.
And it's just a good story.
But this is a great story. Now, as in our Bunny Man episode, I had said a couple of times in there how awesome it would be to tell this story to the kids at a campfire. You got your s'mores. You're out there at night in the woods, the crackling fire, and you're telling the kids the story of the Bunny Man just before they go to bed so that they can't sleep all night.
And while they're sleeping, there's deer walking around, so they're breaking branches and
cracking and the sounds of the forest and how fun that is.
Right, yeah.
To do that. Well, I gotta say, I think this one's better.
Yeah, this one's it's going to last longer than that night.
Yeah.
These kids are going to have nightmares for weeks.
Just the thought of this actually occurring. If you were out there and you did what we're going to talk about, at the end maybe of the episode, and you did it and it appeared, I wouldn't even know what to do.
I'd poop myself and drive away.
Yeah, but that's the fun part about this particular story is driving away is what she wants you to do.
What other reaction would you have, though?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to get out of your car, that's for darn sure. But this story is about as spine-chilling and creepy as it gets.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you that are listening are going to go, it wasn't that scary.
Right.
But I think you got to put yourself in the position of actually seeing something like this.
At night. Dead quiet. You're by yourself.
I looked this area up. Now, in the case of the Bunny Man, I said that it was, kind of a creepy area. I mean, yes and no.
Right.
It's a rural area, but it was forested and it just looked like, if this bunny emerged, it would be kind of creepy.
A creepy area.
This is way worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I pulled this up on the mapping program, typed in the addresses and stuff of where this apparition is seen. And we're talking about a very secluded rural road that is surrounded by massive trees. The road, a great portion of it is like a dirt road.
Yeah.
There's like wetlands, almost appeared to be like marshy. Some guy had actually driven that length of the road. One end of it is now blocked off, which is where you used to be able to get to the church. We're going to kind of go over that, the significance of the church in this particular story. And I'm watching this video of this guy driving the road, kind of like I did Bray Road.
Right.
So this guy had to do the same. He's obviously heard the legend and he went out to go see what it was all about. He films it. He put it up on, I don't remember, TikTok or YouTube. And as I'm watching it, he's panning the road with his camera to show you that it's just dense forest on both sides.
Right.
Trees overhang the roadway. Everything was just wet and looks like literal marshland. And then he shows this big gate that's closed at the end of the road. And he was like, that's where you would have been going to, but now the road's closed there. So you'd have to turn around to be able to get back to the main road. And he's kind of going through this. What if she was here and showed up? And I was like, the more you actually looked at the area, that's what makes it so spine chilling. You are out in the middle of nowhere. And so if you were out there, if you did the things that you need to do to summon her, and if she actually showed up, I'm telling you what, just the area that you're in is scary enough. But then to have her show up would just be, I don't think you'd ever get past it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Especially when we start talking about what she looks like and what she does.
Yeah. I just think that you'd never get that image out of your head. You'd probably never be able to go to sleep again. Then you'd be in a mental institution. You'd have to escape. You'd end up in a train.
And you'd be the next urban legend.
And you'd be the next urban legend. Yeah. You'd be the next bunny man. So let's kind of get into the story of the three-legged lady. And I will say that she's never mentioned by name. There's no specific account of who she is, who she was married to, her kid's name, nothing. Right. There is literally no further information, no detail on this. So it's clearly just urban legend, which, they always come up with no named things and nothing that you can look into, right? I mean, that's the whole point of an urban legend.
Yeah.
They don't want you to go fact finding on it and proving that it isn't real. And so in this particular case, it's going to be the same. So we're going to refer to her just as the lady or the three-legged lady as the legend goes. So a description of this gal, most depictions of her, and if you were to look this up, there's a few little stories out there, then they try and post pictures of it. Most of the depictions of the three-legged lady are that she is like a young to a middle-aged. So I'm picturing, like 25 to 35 years old.
Exactly.
Middle-aged woman wearing a white dress. Sometimes it's torn, disheveled. Sometimes it's a beautiful dress. Depends on who's telling the story.
Yeah.
And their personal depiction of what they think it would look like. I picture her in the tattered clothing.
Yeah, that's kind of dirty and...
Yes.
Exactly.
And her skin is grayish and rotting as though, she's been around for a while. She has this mangled appendage that's been sewn to her hip. That looks like the third leg.
Yeah.
Hanging off of her, just like this swinging, rotting, dead flesh of a leg. And when she appears to you, one of the frightening things about it is the legend is that she's still out there looking for, and there's multiple variations of this, but the main one is that she's out there like looking for her daughter. So she's like looking in your cars and stuff, when she does appear. That's the whole point, is she's still pursuing the killer of her kid. And so the whole story in and of itself is really creepy.
Oh, yeah.
And that if you summon her and she does show up, she may think that you're the killer. And so she's going to check out everything to make sure that you don't have more body parts or whatnot with you. And that's the premise of this story. And so as we get into it, it gets creepier.
Oh, yeah.
The location where the three-legged lady is seen is in Lowndes County, Mississippi, which is basically Columbus, Mississippi I would say this is the closest city. This is out in like a remote part. I looked at the map, and if you take Nash Road, then you'll end up driving into the city of Columbus. Right. But this is kind of on the outskirts. And Nash is this big like looping road that connects up to other highways. When you look at it on a map, it's dense forest land. There's not much out there. It's very sparse. I did see and could not verify. So these are the things that anger me when you're doing research.
Yeah, exactly.
When there isn't information, because you expect the internet to know everything. And when you
it should. That's what it's there for.
Exactly. But when you can't find it, it really ticks me off. But I'm looking at this road map of Nash, and out there is this, the little pin drop of a church called Antioch Church. So when you type in Antioch, it didn't give me that same location. It said it was a Baptist church and it's somewhere around Columbus, but it doesn't show it as being on Nash Road. So I thought, well, either the pin drop is inaccurate or that's the old abandoned church and the new Antioch church has moved to a different location. I can't confirm anything because it just wasn't out there. So if anybody knows, email us and let me know, because we need to, we got to go out here and do this.
Oh, yeah.
This would be a huge mistake. If we got out there, did what they say to do, and she showed up, I'd probably be terrified for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
That'd be the end of it. But I also have to know. So
yeah,
it's something that it's on my bucket list. I got to go out and do this road and see if that church is out there and see if it's blocked off. I've heard things like, oh, there's charred remains of the church. I've heard now that there was no church there to begin with. I do see that there's 2 churches out there on that road. But then when you type in the name of the church, it doesn't show it at that location. And so I got relatively confused. Does it exist? Does it not exist? I can't tell.
Right.
But there was a church out there, according to the legend. And we'll get into the...
So I'm going to go with there was a church out there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to just say there was. And since I know that there are churches on the map out there, whether they exist or not, they were still placed on that map.
Yeah.
So there must be, or was, one way or the other, there was a church out there. And that's what we're going with.
Exactly. Get over it. That's what it is, people.
That's what it is. If you live out there and you know that there's no church there, and I'm saying there is, you know what? I'm right. You're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. So anyway, most of the sightings of this 3-legged lady occur between 2661 and 4548 Nash Road. And so those are the areas that I looked up on the map. And it is, you're just out there in the middle of nowhere. It's definitely a very creepy looking road. I did see one big building out there with cars parked at it and stuff. So I know there's people that live on Nash Road probably.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they've ever seen this. I also found there was some property for sale in this area on Zillow. And I thought, I got to buy that piece of property. There was one, I think it was like an acre lot. They had it listed for $250. And then it was off the market. And I thought, that's either a total misprint or this chick haunts that area and they can't get rid of the property.
Yeah.
And sold it for $250 to some unsuspecting soul that's probably going to get killed,
Yeah.
By
Then you'd have a good reason for driving the area.
Yeah.
If you get stopped and they're like, why are you driving around at midnight?
Yeah. I was looking for this property that was up for sale.
Yeah. Or I own this property.
I own it. Yeah.
And I was just, going for a nightly drive.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you bought a piece of property, it'd be like the Porterville Gnome. You buy it thinking, oh, I finally found my paradise.
Yeah, look at this. It's right next to the river. Yeah.
That would just be horrible. But in this particular case, I'd rather have the little gnome.
Oh, yeah.
Flipping me off. This chick showed up.
That thing could eat all the koi fish at once.
Yeah,
so I don't have to deal
I'd
with this
probably
later.
just feed him, try and make him happy. This chick, I don't think you can make her happy.
I have to bring it up with this gal because it's stuck in my head. Did you ever see the movie Silent Hill?
No.
Okay. The movie sucked, but it was based on a video game. And I remember playing this game when it first came out, like when I was 12 or 13. I don't remember exactly, but I know I was in my early teens. But it was a horror video game. And the premise of the game was your daughter goes missing or you don't hear from her. She was like doing work in some town. So you're the guy, you go to the town looking for her. When you get there, this town is called Silent Hill. The whole town's deserted. So you're walking around. It's a small town and it's always nighttime and you have a flashlight you grabbed out of your car. During it, you find a gun. So you're carrying a gun around. Well, the game you'd go into a building when you'd open the door, you'd walk in. Looks new, like it was lived in, but nobody's in the town, right? So you'd be walking down the hall of like a business. And you'd walk into the next door, and then everything would turn evil.
Oh.
And then there'd be like torsos with legs running at you, or you'd go into the hospital and there were evil nurses that had like 3 arms. But for some reason, it was stuck in my head that this is that lady. She's one of the ladies from this game who's, you go down a certain road and everything turns evil. And now you have a 3-legged lady chasing you. They have those weird twitchy motions like from the movies,
right?
Freaking you out. And I had to say that because that's how I picture her. It's just this morbid, evil lady.
Yeah. And I had read something about it. I didn't look into it. I don't know if you've ever heard. Is there a game called Sons of the Forest or something like that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never heard that one.
I think the 3-legged lady had something to do with that video game as well.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But I didn't really get into that end of it. Anyway, she's seen between those particular addresses out there on Nash Road. And apparently a lot of people claim to have seen her. And a lot of people claim that she's actually like damaged their cars. Finding those people to come forward to say, oh, yeah, this actually happened. It's just not out there.
Yeah.
When you're doing research on the internet, you can scroll through 5 million pages on stuff and never actually find anything.
No.
It's just the same story over and over and over. It's really hard to substantiate true sightings on this, but nonetheless, people say they've seen it. So
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. Let's get into the origin of the 3-legged lady. Now, just like our last urban legend, and as almost all urban legends go, there's multiple variations. It changes as the story goes.
Yeah.
People embellish. People want the story to sound better than what they heard it, so they add to it or take away from it, or whatever the case is. And in this particular case, there's multiple versions of the story as well.
Yep.
So instead of going over every story and turning this into a three-day podcast, trying to cover everything, we're going to talk about 5 different versions of this particular legend. They're the most popular without getting into the minutia of little tiny things that have changed.
Exactly.
We're going to go over the major stuff. And we'll start with just saying that the urban legend of the 3-legged lady has no definitive date or year of the emergence of the story, but it was an extremely popular story to tell throughout the 20th century. The 3-legged lady doesn't just haunt the area. She torments drivers that are going through that area by chasing their cars down that dark roadway, slamming her body into the car and peering into their windows.
Now, all of that's horrifying, right? But for some reason, the peering into the window is the creepiest.
Yeah.
The creepiest part. I think it's part 2, Jeepers Creepers, where he's peeking into the bus, looking at the guy.
And licks the window and stuff.
That's like one of the scariest parts of the movie.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like the dog man that was running next to the trucker.
Yeah.
And looking and leaning down and looking through that passenger window, and he pops it with a 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, the peering into the windows in and of itself is a creepy event.
Because it's just tormenting you at that point.
Yeah, but imagine this 3-legged apparition in a white flowing dress, whether it's tattered and bloody or whether it's pure and clean like she's a bride. Doesn't matter. You got this gray-skinned, frightening, dead woman with 2 legs that are hitting the ground and a third one swinging.
Hitting the window,
smacking the banging against the car and stuff. And she's literally, like purposely slamming her body into the side of your car while she's looking in your back seats, looking in your front seats. And I don't know, that I find that to be just sick and creepy.
And you got to wonder, is she making any noises outside of that?
Oh, she is.
Is she screaming? Is she?
Yeah.
Where's my children?
I just got chills right now just thinking about the screeching or, her.
Or she just bawling hysterically because she's looking for her kid.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, that mangled foot is just smacking your window.
Oh, it makes you sick. Anyway, we'll get into the versions of this legend. Number 1, and this one is not as bad as the others, but in version 1, the 3-legged lady was was secretly having an affair with a Civil War veteran who was ultimately murdered and thrown off the Nash Road bridge by the lady's husband.
Yeah.
He finds out about the affair. He gets ticked off and he kills this guy.
And back then, that was probably law. It's probably allowed to do that.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, exactly. When he chucks this guy off the bridge, the veteran's leg gets snagged on something, whether it's the tree or the bridge itself. But because the fall is so forceful, it actually rips this guy's leg off of his body. Now, some claim that in a fit of grief, the lady recovers the leg and sewed it onto her body and haunted the church where his funeral was held following her death. Another variation of that story is that the husband actually didn't throw the guy off of a bridge, but he tied him to horses, and which, they did that stuff back in the day. Tied him to horses who took off running, dragging him down the road and ultimately tearing his body into pieces until he was dead. And the lady was so distraught over the fact that her lover was killed by her husband, she actually murders the husband, recovers the only thing she could find left of her lover, which was his leg, and she sews it onto her body so that she can be with him for eternity.
Which you might hear that and go, now that's just crazy. There's no way. But there's people that are crazy like that.
There's insane people.
There's people who would be deemed sane that do crazy things.
Yeah.
Let alone someone who's actually had some kind of mental break and now they've just lost it.
Yeah.
To all touch with reality gone.
I don't know if you remember, I don't want to get into all the details, but just to prove people's insanity, I've had cases where women have put their children in microwaves. And I don't know if you remember this case. You were around during this one, where the guy was cutting his son's legs off, pulled his eyes out, and ate them.
I do remember
Do you
that.
remember that
Yeah,
case?
I do.
And so people can lose their minds.
Yeah.
And so when you hear a legend like this, everybody's like, most people that have not experienced real world psychosis
And horrors.
that we've seen in law enforcement, you would say, oh, that's just ridiculous. That would never happen. I've seen things worse than this.
Yeah.
And people can do unbelievable things in the name of whatever, whether they're just evil, it's satanic stuff, they've just lost their minds, drug abuse. They see visions that aren't there.
Yeah.
And the way they react to it, and they end up killing family members and friends and bludgeoning people. And the real world is just as horrifying as urban legend.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, sewing your boyfriend's leg to your hip is kind of twisted.
It's super twisted.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that somebody might do.
Yeah.
It's crazy to even say, but like you were just saying, not to beat a dead horse, but I mean, for lack of a better phrase, there's good in the world and then there's just pure evil.
Yeah.
And some people maybe aren't pure evil, but end up doing things that are such.
And for those that have never witnessed it, count your blessings.
Yeah.
Because when you do see things like this in the real world, the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, eating people, and it's out there. It's out there in force.
Yeah.
So this is not so far-fetched. Let's, why don't you do the second version?
Yeah,
of
we'll
the
move into
story.
that one. Somewhat of a little bit more tragic of a story was that the lady was the wife of a farmer who this guy was visiting town, and that those visits became more and more frequent to the point where she started becoming suspicious. Most of the townspeople had kind of figured out what he was doing at this point, and the women at the church would actually mock her and laugh at her, implying that, she wasn't enough for her husband, which obviously embarrassed her and it ticked her off, which, I mean, rightfully so.
Sure. And you know what? That's real world stuff too.
Which you hate to say, especially
People
that it's
can
taking place in a
be-
church.
People can be very cruel,
Yeah.
And gossips, and they destroy people's lives without even thinking twice about it.
And it's not just little kids with imaginations
No.
that are coming up with stuff. These are
Adults are worse than
yeah,
kids when it
it's-
comes to gossiping
and being vindictive and
Yes.
just nasty. But
exactly.
anyway, so one day the lady follows him into town to unfortunately discover, what she had been thinking was true and that he was cheating on her. So that night, she ends up serving him up a special dinner that was laced with poison, which of course obviously killed him fairly quickly.
Yeah, I can kind of understand it.
Yeah, she had a little what do you call it? Crime of passion, She
Right.
freaked out, and so now she's poisoned him. So the people of church, of course, just like they did before, began to gossip about her having potentially murdered her husband. And since it had been several weeks of his absence and her excuses were starting to run dry.
Yeah. They're talking.
Yeah.
But she knows they're talking.
Exactly.
And that was a mistake on their part. They should have kept that to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, because knowing that she's sitting on borrowed time before someone reports her, she ends up barring up the exits of the church one Sunday morning during service, and she sets the building ablaze. She torches that thing. So, and the report is she's watching excitedly as those who gossiped about her are burned to death.
Yeah, so she's outside the building listening to them scream in horror, and she's
cheering,
having a good time, cheering it on, giggling.
Which, I mean, we're talking that you're at that point, you're slipping into demonic possession at that point.
Yeah, she's lost her mind.
Yeah, it's game over. So then she sews the leg of her dead husband to her body so that they could be together for eternity, which, of course, at that point is the rational thing to do.
Right.
Because she's already lost it. So to her, that's a rational thing.
Yeah.
I have this part of him and we're going to live together.
Yeah. Well, that falls under the guise of if I can't have him, nobody will.
Yeah. And
so she kills him so that the woman that he's having an affair with can't have him. Right. And now she's got his leg.
And she's not crazy. She's not going to sew his entire body to her.
No.
So she's just going to take a leg.
Just a little piece of it. Yeah.
And so now it's said that, of course, she still haunts the charred church grounds and kills anyone who trespasses upon what is now her land.
Yeah. So if you think about that, if that was the case, then the church no longer exists.
Right. And there's the charred remains.
And there's the charred remains of the church. So that one may have some viability to it. Oh, so moving into yet another version. The lady, this one's kind of sick.
I mean, yeah, because the last one wasn't.
Yeah, because the last one wasn't just, mass murder of everybody, in church.
As you giggle.
Sewing your dead husband's leg to you is perfectly acceptable. This one, the lady and her little toddler-aged daughter were home alone while her husband was working at a sawmill, and he's quite some distance away. Sometime during that afternoon, her little girl was taking a nap when the family dog starts barking and growling at something out by the barn or out by their little hen house that they had out there. Kind of reminds me of the animals, afraid of the little area where the gnome is.
Exactly.
Right? Animals are always the little warning.
They sense the evil, yeah. That's why it's good to keep them, even though
they're torturing us.
They tear you up and poop on your house.
Yeah. So the lady and the dog, they go out to see what's happening outside, leaving the little girl alone in the house unguarded. And of course, she's asleep, so she doesn't even know what's going on.
Right.
So the lady and the dog, they found nothing unusual outside, so they eventually venture back into the house. And horrified, the lady discovers that her little girl's missing. So as she's, of course, looking around, she sees that there's blood everywhere, and one of her little legs was left behind.
Right. So Monday night quarterback here, I mean, I'm leaving the dog with the kid.
Yeah.
And we're locking the doors.
Or locking the doors, doing something.
Yeah.
But you can imagine if you walked in and found that your son's gone and there's a body part there.
Horrifying.
At this point, you've already lost your mind.
It's
right?
gone.
There's no way you can think rationally. There's no way that you could ever say that you are in a state of mind that's normal.
No.
At this point, you'd snap and you become whatever you become.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people would go into depression and lay down and cry. Others are going to go out on a search. Others may, who knows what your thought process is at that point. But you're no longer yourself.
No, you're bursting out of the house potentially, running down, tracking a thing, and the next thing or person you come across, you're probably going to maul.
Yeah.
Which could be just like some couple walking in the night.
Yeah.
Holding hands.
But because they're in your area, they're possibly suspect.
They're done.
Yeah.
You're just going to beat them to death.
So she's grief-stricken.
Obviously, yeah.
Clearly. I mean, I don't even know how I would react. I'd go on a murderous rampage as well.
Yeah.
But she kind of loses it even more so than what I think would be the norm here.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be doing this next part, but
Yeah, probably not. But she started thinking that she could possibly preserve her little girl's leg by attaching it to her own hip, hoping that if her little girl ever happened to be found or was returned, that leg could then be reattached to the girl.
I mean, it's like you said, you've lost touch with reality.
You've lost touch with reality. Now, it's a good thought process, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if she could attach it to her, I mean, I'm sure she's not a vascular surgeon.
Right.
So actually keeping the leg alive just by sewing it on your body would not really happen.
Exactly.
But she's off her rocker at this point, right?
She's gone.
She's gone. She's 3 sheets to the wind, and she's as big a lunatic as you can probably get.
Yeah, rightfully so, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I understand that. So in her mind, if she sews that to her, it'll continue blood flow, it'll keep the flesh alive, and she can preserve that leg for her daughter. And even if the little girl was never to be located again, it's all she had left of her daughter.
Right.
And so she had this sick desire to keep that leg alive. The whole premise is sick.
It is, yeah. It is.
But
because next thing you know, she's turning it into the leg lamp from the Christmas movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's gone. She's lost her mind.
So the lady grabs herself a knife. She removes skin from her own hip and sews that little girl's leg onto her. So now you can picture this a little more so than just the 3-legged lady.
Right.
And this is where the sickness and the horror comes in, is she has 2 normal legs, but then she has this little dangling appendage hanging off of the side of her that just, it's unnatural.
Right.
I mean, it'd be unnatural to have 3 legs. Anyway, period.
Exactly.
But this is like this little frightening mangled leg, hanging off of her body.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, it adds to the sickness and the sheer horror of if you saw a woman standing there with this child's legs sewn to her.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
And you got to wonder if the evil takes over at that point and that little thing is kicking off her hip there, trying to hit people. Or
Lord only knows.
Jeez.
The community, of course, blames the abduction of this little girl on a mad dog. I guess animal attack would be the only thing you would be thinking, since there was obviously mutilation and the body dragged away.
But how far away is this investigation that she's not hearing her little kid get mauled by a dog?
Right, exactly. And I think that it would be more likely that it was the case of like a kidnapping or a serial killer or something of that nature. But the bottom line is the lady dies shortly thereafter. And the speculation was that she died from blood poisoning caused by the rotting leg that's been attached to her. Anyway, the lady and the little leg were buried together.
Right.
And so that's the legend. The lady's ghost is now chasing cars, trying to see if you have the rest of her daughter, because while being laid to rest, she doesn't want to be laid to rest in peace. She wants to be laid to rest in pieces with her daughter back intact. And so that legend is sick.
Yeah. And it also adds to the frame of mind of the entity that could be chasing you. I mean, that's just a murderous rage that's potentially unstoppable. They have mothers lifting cars off their children who have never worked out a day in their life, let alone they found their kid's leg and then thought it was a good idea to sew it to their hip and now chase you down a road.
Exactly.
So moving on here into another version, we have young girl was out on the road near a church when she was struck by a car, unfortunately killing her. And from a distance, her mother heard the scream as the vehicle struck. She rushes over to the scene.
Okay, so horrifying.
Exactly. And potentially, I mean, they're both horrifying, so really you're splitting hairs here, but hearing the scream and then going over and seeing it is a little bit more horrifying than just seeing it. Anyway, when she arrives on scene, the car and her daughter were both gone, and the only thing that was left behind was a bloody leg. So again, just adding to the horror.
Yeah.
Hear the scream, you hear the noise, you rush over to try to save her, and there's just a little bloody stump there.
Yeah, it'd be like, where did the car go? Why did they take her body?
Right.
A lot of unanswered questions, but you can see why her apparition ghost chases cars. She's looking for her little girl.
Right. Thinking that the pieces, the rest of her daughter, still in the vehicle.
Yeah.
So a variation of the story claims the young daughter was out walking along the road when she came upon an unknown serial killer. Being on an isolated road, the killer took the opportunity to kill the girl and dismember her, taking only her head with him as a souvenir, which doesn't, that's a variation, obviously, the first one, because if the mother just found the leg.
But it doesn't quite make as much sense.
Right.
Because if he just took the head, then the torso, the body, the legs, arms, everything left behind.
Why would the mother
cut the leg off
just
and
do the
attach it to her?
exactly?
Yeah. So I don't like that version.
Yeah. Got to throw it out there.
Yep.
The lady later found the leg of her daughter and accused all of those who drove by of being the killer, attempting to chase them down for revenge. And in both variations, the trauma caused the woman to go mad, obviously, like we said before.
Clearly,
You've lost your mind at this point. And depending on who tells the story, she either sewed the leg onto her own body, or, which is also another creepy version.
Yes, this one's just as bad.
It is. And I don't know how it's just as bad, but it is. But she just wanders the road with the leg in her hand, looking for the daughter's killer.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine her sprinting, just smacking that thing against the window? I mean, it's horrifying. That or the little thing coming up off her hip, tapping on the window.
Either way, you'd never get it out of your head again.
And you have to wonder, at what speeds are we talking here? Is she continuing, when you're getting up to even 20, 25, 30?
Faster.
She's staying with you that whole time.
What I read is that she has supernatural speed. So even if you're doing 70, she stays with your car, peering in the window, slamming her body against it.
And that mangled foot just wiggling its toes at you.
Mangled foot, yeah. Tapping at the window with those little toenails.
It's horrifying.
Oh, it is horrifying. Yeah. So the last version that we'll cover is that a lot of people believe that the hauntings can be traced back to an old church that was once located on Nash Road, apparently not there anymore.
Right.
And it's been said that when that church was no longer in use, which makes me wonder about that one church that shows on the map, but when you look it up, it's not that location.
Exactly.
It moved, but it's the same name as the church. It almost makes you wonder if it's that. That church no longer in use became a site for satanic cults and using it for human sacrifices.
Now here we go again with the cults.
Boom. Right back into the occult.
Yes.
Right? Where you got now demons and being able to summon things up. And I'm assuming, although it did not get into detail, that the whole point behind this is that in some way, shape, or form, the people of that church ended up summoning up this woman, the three-legged woman, who now haunts the area.
Which I'm buying that.
Yeah, well, if it's anything, if she's out there, that makes the most sense to me, because you get into that horrifying spiritual realm. That makes more sense than just being a ghost of some woman looking for her daughter. This would be more along the lines of trying to terrify people.
Which is what a demon would do.
Terrify and torment.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. But you know what? How many episodes have we talked about where there's been cult activity in an area where a cryptid has been seen?
Exactly.
Multiple ones.
It gets to the point, and I know we've said this before, but I can't help but say it. It just gets to the point where it's too much to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
That these satanic cults are lining up in these areas or getting together in these areas, and they're doing these rituals, doing these sacrifices. And then after those things happen, these things are popping up in these areas and they're tormenting people. They're chasing people down. Whether they're actually causing physical harm or not, who knows? Because if people go missing, you won't know if physical harm was caused.
Right.
But they're tormenting them mentally.
You wouldn't know why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're still tormenting them mentally. I mean, like you said, if you go there just to see it, you do your little thing and it pops up and you go to gas it down the road and you're like, well, I'm in a Ford Mustang, so I'll be good to go. And you get up to 65, 70, like nothing, but it's still next to you, sprinting, banging against the car, peering in, smacking it with the foot.
Yeah. Even if you survive, you'd never get past that.
That's horrifying. And then the frustration of telling people about that if you're unfortunately by yourself on top of that. Hey, this happened. Like, okay, you guys, sure it did.
Not a soul would ever believe you.
No. We'd believe you if it's happened to you.
We would, so call us.
Yeah, let us know because we'll believe you.
Yeah, we'll put you on the show.
But if you're telling your buddy or your mom or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, they're, oh, yeah. Are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody? You have a lot going on right now. Something. They would look for excuses because people can't, they have to try to quote unquote rationalize it. They can't just accept that it could be just something evil.
Right. Well, and we're going to get into that on how to summon her. But I think back a couple episodes ago when we were talking to Paul from Alabama on the white thing. And do you remember when we were talking about satanic cults, he had made the comment, these people play with Ouija boards. They play with things.
Exactly.
They summon somebody up trying to find out grandma's will, where it was or something, but they open a door for something else to come out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him saying
that. I do.
But I agree with that.
Yeah.
You play with supernatural things and you summon something up.
It's out of your control.
Once you've opened that door and it responds and it's here, it's outside your ability to control anything. And it may not be what you even wanted.
Right.
You're bringing some evil entity into the world. And in this particular case, like as we're going to get into, when you summon this up and it shows up, I know that the people that go out there that do this don't expect it to be real. Right? Just like the movies, you know.
Where it's the teenagers.
Yeah, you stand in front of the mirror and you do Bloody Mary,
right.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, and they laugh and see nothing happened. And then
all of a sudden they're getting their throat cut. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's too late because you were dumb enough to summon it.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, I would think it's the same. You summon this thing up and all of a sudden she's running next to your car.
Yeah.
I don't think the intent here is that she kills you. She's looking for her daughter, according to legend, or believes that you're the one that killed her daughter.
But you panic, you're driving even 45 miles an hour plus. You jerk the wheel to the right.
Yeah. And you're going to slam into a tree
or
on
you're
this
flipping the car,
road,
something. Yeah, exactly.
Down in the marshlands.
Yeah.
And, lose control and roll your car.
Because I think most people who think they know how to drive don't actually know how to drive.
Yeah, especially in panic mode.
Exactly.
Yeah. Once they start to lose control of the car.
Yeah, they don't know how to turn into things. And yeah, exactly.
Right.
So.
But yeah, so this could be, as we have said in multiple episodes, this could be more so demonic than it is just a
legend or a story.
Right?
Yeah. Or ghostly, I guess would be the other thing.
Yeah.
Rather than, because to me, and of course, somebody who's an expert on it could correct me, but when you're talking about ghosts and apparitions, they're not sprinting next to your car banging on things.
Right.
They're an apparition. That's what they are. You see them, you see a wisp of them, a mist of them, maybe even a full-fledged, you could see like a person, but it goes away. It's not chasing you. It's not banging against something. It's not actually making dents in your vehicle.
Right.
Whereas
this one is.
Exactly.
And yeah, you got to wonder what it is.
Demon.
Got to be. So as the legend goes.
Of course.
Anybody who decides to go out there and play around with this, if you drive to that particular area that I had mentioned in the very beginning between those street addresses where she's normally found.
Right.
If you get out there, you stop, and this probably needs to be at night. And so I don't think it has to be like midnight or any specific time, but it needs to be dark outside.
Right.
You get out there, you stop on Nash Road near the old church ground, which I'm not 100%, but I believe it's more towards that 4500 block is getting closer to the church than the 2600 block. You turn off your headlights and you honk the horn 3 times. And after doing that, this 3-legged lady will knock on the roof of your car, and then she appears next to you and races you to the end of the road, hitting the car with her body the entire time. So she's, no matter how fast you're driving, she'll stay up with you, slam herself into your car door, peer in those windows, bang that nasty foot against the windows. Like you said, that gave me chills earlier, the screeching or the screaming,
Yeah.
where's my child, or whatever it is that she's doing. I would just think that if you went out there, you did this, she shows up, you take off, it would be probably the most terrifying thing of a lifetime.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming across Bigfoot, I think would be exciting. Scary.
Scary, but
exciting.
yeah, exactly.
Seeing the lizard man, seeing a dog man, they're all terrifying. There's no doubt that you would be terrified.
It's the same as coming across a grizzly bear out in the woods.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Right. It's absolute fear. Although in the event of a grizzly bear, of course, you could shoot a grizzly bear 3 or 4 times, still be
Right.
mauled
Yeah.
by it, if you don't get a perfect shot in on him. But at least you have some capability of
Exactly.
defense, where against these guys, I don't think you do, especially if they're demonic.
Right.
There's no way you're killing it. So you got to deal with what you got in front of you. This one, 10 times more terrifying, in my opinion, than seeing a dog man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because you can't help but think that there'd be some excitement of seeing a dog man.
Oh, yes.
If we drove Bray Road and it emerged from the cornfields, that you and I would go, oh,
I'd be all
my
smiles.
God,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
Let's get a picture and get the heck out of here. If this woman showed up, I don't think I'd be going, get a picture of her. And,
No. Every
I think
cuss
I'd
word
be-
in the book would be coming out of my mouth.
I
as
would
I'm-
be absolutely horrified.
As I'm screaming at you to gun it. Gun it. Drive away.
And she's still keeping up banging
Yeah.
that nasty leg against your window.
I'm just going to start praying out loud for us.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just can't imagine this one. But if you think you got the stomach for this,
Yeah.
then you dash on out there to
Which we're going to
Nash
have
Road.
to do it.
We're going to have
Yeah.
to. Get out there, turn your lights off, park on the side of the road, honk that horn 3 times.
3 times. So we were talking about this and we had to look it up because it was bugging us. Because, the bunny man.
The Bunny Man 3 times. Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary 3
3
times.
times.
This 3 times.
Yeah.
So there's a few different reasons. One of them, some people say that, it kind of ties to, they think it's like a biblical aspect, especially in Christianity, you're talking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Right. But then this would be the opposite side of that, the evil
Exactly.
entities of it, right?
Right. And some of them, it was like a ritual used in magic and summoning spirits. There's something about the number 3, the repetition of it, that was...
Yeah, it's, from what I understand, it was like the symbolism of completion.
Exactly.
Or something that we read, the beginning and the end.
Right. Those 3 things tied together, and that's why you said it 3 times.
Yeah. I would think that more so than the biblical reference
Agreed.
of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. You have the Trinity, and that's pure. Does
it get more pure than that?
Yeah, that's as good as it gets. And using like a spirit's name or something and repeating it 3 times, I think is more ritualistic.
Right.
And has more of an evil connotation to it.
Which just lends, in my mind, credibility to that these things are of a satanic nature.
Yeah. That you're
summoning
it through ritual.
A spirit or demon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway,
Yeah,
you guys are wondering what that is. That's what we found on it.
Yeah. So anything that you see legend-wise where you have to repeat it 3 times, that's why.
You're dealing with evil.
You're
Just
dealing
don't
with
do it.
evil, and you're partaking in a ritual.
Say it, but then have your Bible ready to start quoting scripture,
right?
So to get
Throw
rid of
some
it.
holy water at this chick, and I don't know. This one, like I say, this one just gives me the creeps. Cryptids I find fascinating. The 3-legged woman I just find terrifying.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there going, "No, she's not as scary in any respect as coming across the Jersey Devil or something." But in my world,
there's something about
my
it.
book. There's something about just the sickness of
The evil behind
her
it.
sewing that leg onto her body and then blaming you for taking it. I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole story is just really too much for me, but it's fun.
Yeah,
I love it. And I'll definitely repeat it at a campfire.
Oh yeah.
Your son's too young to, he'd be so terrified.
Oh yeah,
He'd
absolutely.
never be able to sleep, but
Yeah, my wife won't. She usually lets him listen to the podcast. I'll let her know. Maybe this one. Let's not do because
yeah, this one's probably not the best one for little kids to listen to. But so getting into sightings of it, there literally are no documented or substantiated sightings of the three-legged lady of Nash Road. However, that being said, several people have claimed to not only see her running next to their cars, but banging into the car, pounding on the hood, and actually causing dents and damage to their vehicles.
Right.
Now, if you can find an account of that, I would love to see it.
Oh, absolutely. Send it our way.
Because I can't see it other than people saying that that's what happened.
Right.
But they're non-identified people, no date, no time, no details.
No pictures of the dented cars.
Nothing.
Anything.
No evidence. So I just can't put any stock in that.
Right.
You know, that it's actually occurred until you can see the evidence and somebody's posted that picture and given their name or something.
Yeah,
know?
or even, like you said,
Something
even
to
just
be credible.
if they don't have any physical evidence, just them coming out, hey, it's me so-and-so on this day, this year, this time, this is who I was with, this is what we did, this is what we saw. I'm buying it. Yeah. I'll take it. But outside of like, oh yeah, I just heard that somebody did see it.
Right.
It's kind of hard to.
And you know, when you start searching a lot of things like Reddit, YouTube, all the different social medias,
right?
It doesn't matter, you know, what you're on or what you're looking at. When you can't even find it on those social media sites, and you know, on Reddit, a lot of people love to get on there and criticize and joke, and you know, like I'm part of some of those different communities.
Yeah.
And there's always the trollers, right?
Yeah.
That get on there just to say, you guys are morons, you know, for even thinking that cryptid exists or whatever. I don't want to hear any of that.
Yeah, you're just being mean to be mean.
You're just being mean. Stay off. If you don't believe in it, stay off that particular site.
We had the guy do that to us.
Yeah.
When we talked about the podcast, and he's like, no, these guys are rude and
they're jerks.
They're jerks. And the guy asked him, okay, like,
have you even listened?
And he said, no, I just find that most people are rude. And it's like, well, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, go away.
If you're just going to be a troll, go away.
Yeah.
Go away.
So
to add on to that, I got to go into it now, because if the person did actually see this and this happened to them, and now you're the reason why people don't report it.
Right.
Because they're reporting it. They're reaching out. They're saying, hey, I had this experience, and now you're going on and being a jerk.
Yeah. Tearing them apart.
Now they're like, this is why I didn't do it.
Right.
I'm going to delete my post because I don't want to deal with it.
And we've seen that in multiple cases.
Yeah.
Multiple cases.
Yeah.
People have posted pictures and said, I swear I took this picture. It's untouched. It's real. And then everybody's like, fake, costume, you're
AI,
a jerk.
That's a rock.
Why would you do this? And they ruin it. We talk about it all the time. Hoaxsters and rotten people ruin things for those that have actually seen stuff.
Yeah. And you suck for doing that. No other way to put it.
You suck for doing that.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That is all we've got.
Yeah.
On the three-legged lady. We did make an hour.
Yeah.
Which surprises me because there wasn't a whole lot of information on her. But I find it a fascinating urban legend. I think it's one that should live on.
Absolutely.
That legend should be told to every generation. And anybody that's driving through Mississippi and sees that sign, Nash Road, if you got the guts for it, go out there, park, turn your lights off, honk 3 times, see what happens. If you don't have the guts for it, I don't blame you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we're ever out there, we're doing it. We got to do it.
You know, the fear is a lot of these newer vehicles, you can't really turn your lights off because there's always like a running light that's on. Oh, yeah. So you'd have to turn your vehicle off.
Oh, you'd have to shut everything down. And then if she's got the ability like
that's what I was just thinking. Yeah,
now you can't restart
now she's
the
just
car.
Screaming at you, peering through the window, banging the foot, and you can't fire up the vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a frightening thought.
Yeah.
I'll have to install a light switch or something to be able to kill it. Anyway, that's all I've got. Do you have any more on her?
No, that was a good one.
Okay. Well, we had a lot of fun with that one. I hope you guys enjoyed the stories. Make sure you pass that legend along. Next time you're out camping, you got a nice fire going, frighten the children with that one and have a good time with it. I think our next episode is going to be kind of a creepy one.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about, and this has actually occurred in 3 different states. They're known as the Connecticut melonheads.
Right.
But they have been seen in other states. There's some history to these guys. And they're these big-headed, cannibalistic
mountain people. Feral mountain people. Yeah. They're terrorizing people.
And they're terrorizing
Yeah.
people and possibly eating them.
Yeah.
So we're going to have fun with that one.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned. And if you're interested in cannibalistic, big-headed mountain people from the Appalachian regions,
Yeah.
tune in and take a listen. Got anything else, Jake?
Nope. Good to go. Thanks,
right.
guys. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show and you want to help us out, then go ahead and give us a follow, leave us a review, and don't forget to turn on the automatic download button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And as always, if you've had any experiences, stories, thoughts, comments, or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to cryptidfanatic@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like to be on the show or just have your story featured during one of our episodes.